Yes, a last-minute change to the top of tonight's show, to that huge breaking news. The police investigation into Angela Rayner is examining multiple allegations and is not merely limited to potential electoral law offences. That's according to reports that have just come out this evening.
The air in Westminster has grown heavy, tense, and almost electric. In the heart of Britain's political storm, one ruling has just shaken the foundations of trust, democracy, and leadership itself. The Chief Justice, in a moment that history will never forget, has handed down a ruling that cuts right to the core of British politics. Angela Rayner, a figure who has spent years climbing through the ranks of Labour's power machine, now finds herself standing on the edge of political collapse. And what caused this stunning downfall? A scandal so dramatic, so shocking, that it has left the entire nation in disbelief. An election-rigging scandal, one that has been simmering in whispers for months, has finally burst into the open with a thunderous verdict that could change everything. Tonight, we take you inside this story. We unravel how Angela Rayner, the fiery deputy leader who promised to fight for fairness and equality, is now accused of undermining the very democracy she claimed to defend. We will explore the courtroom drama that ended in a ruling against her, the stunned reaction of her party, and what this means not just for Labour, but for Britain's fragile political system as a whole. This isn't just another scandal. This is a turning point. A moment when truth, justice, and accountability came face to face with power and ambition, and power lost. Day began like any other in Westminster, but it ended with chaos. The courtroom was packed, journalists crammed shoulder to shoulder, the sound of camera shutters clicking every few seconds, each reporter desperate to capture the expressions of the powerful figures entering the chamber. Angela Rayner walked in with her usual confidence, head held high, lips pressed tight, her famous fire
reportedly examining tax matters and other issues on top of the question of whether Rayner gave false information for the electoral register when she lived between two former council houses in Stockport in the 2010s.
Her famous fiery stare aimed straight ahead. To her supporters, she looked defiant. To her critics, she looked nervous. And everyone knew why. For weeks, evidence had been piling up. Leaked documents, testimonies, whispers of interference in local election counts, and allegations that votes had been manipulated. For ordinary Britons, the thought was unthinkable. Election rigging was something we associated with corrupt regimes far away, not the United Kingdom, the cradle of parliamentary democracy. And yet, here it was, a deputy leader accused of being connected to one of the most shocking electoral scandals in modern times. The Chief Justice wasted no time. The words echoed across the courtroom like hammer blows. The evidence was compelling, the breaches of democratic integrity undeniable. Angela Rayner's arguments were brushed aside, her team's attempts to discredit the claims fell flat, and in the end, the ruling was as clear as daylight. She had lost. The judiciary had stood firm, ruling against her, declaring that the scandal had not only undermined the fairness of elections, but had also damaged the public's trust in government itself. For a moment there was silence, pure, absolute silence, the kind that weighs heavy on your chest. Then came the gasps, the hurried scribbling of journalists, the buzzing of phones as the news shot across the nation like wildfire.
So what are these latest developments then? It's just landed moments ago.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a story in the Times, and it reveals that the investigation by Greater Manchester Police into Angela Rayner isn't going to be confined to just issues around the Representation of the People Act. This is the electoral law element. And of course, that's significant because those offences are meant to be registered and investigated within 12 months. So of course, now we're talking about different things. We don't know, for instance, the kind of exact detail of what they're looking into, but one potential issue, if it's involving two different houses, is
Chief Justice rules against Angela Rayner. Election rigging scandal explodes. Labour in crisis. Headlines formed in real time. Within minutes, social media lit up with outrage, shock, and disbelief. Supporters of Rayner cried foul, insisting that the establishment was out to destroy her. Critics, meanwhile, demanded her resignation, calling this the greatest betrayal of trust in decades. Across the country, in pubs, workplaces, and living rooms, people were glued to their screens, asking themselves the same haunting question. If our elections are not safe, what is left of our democracy? Angela Rayner herself, ever the fighter, stood outside the courtroom and faced the flashing cameras. Her voice was steady, her tone fiery, as she declared that she would continue to fight. She denied wrongdoing, claimed she was being targeted, and vowed that she would not step down. But behind the words, behind the defiance, you could see it, the flicker of fear in her eyes, the weight of a ruling she could not escape. For Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, the ruling was a nightmare come to life. His deputy, already a magnet for controversy, was now the central figure in a scandal that threatened to tear his party apart. How could Labour present itself as the party of justice?
That the Labour government, despite any manifesto commitment, want to completely change the shape of local government, and that is now being used by the Conservative Party, who in fact run most of the county councils, as a reason to cancel the elections. No, I'm not making it up. Over half of the county councils in Britain have said, because these changes are coming, we want the elections cancelled on
fairness and integrity when its own leadership was being accused of undermining democracy. Behind closed doors, Labour MPs were furious, worried about their own seats, their own reputations, their own futures. Some whispered that Starmer should cut ties immediately, force Rayner to step down before the scandal consumed the entire party. Others worried that doing so would spark open war within Labour's ranks. And then came the public reaction. Protesters gathered outside Parliament, waving banners that read "Defend Democracy"